Hello and welcome to the Family Business. I'm Joe Castiglione Jr. alongside Isaac Stoops here at the historic Campus Corner Sooner Scoop HQ. It's exciting times. Yesterday, signing date 2 days ago, got a new OC.
Yeah.
Welcome Ben Arbuckle. Welcome fellow 29-year-old Ben Arbuckle to, I'm actually not 29, I'm 27, but I'm close. Welcome him to Norman. I'm actually going to offer him a ceremonial round of golf over at Westwood National, if you've ever played at Westwood National. If you've seen that video from his Washington State, that's a pretty funny video. He also likes Turnpike. I think he's going to fit in just fine around here.
He seems like a really cool guy. I went by that little signing day event yesterday in the what's it called, the Switzer Center, and he spoke at it. And I don't know, it just seems like a very energetic, young guy that'll relate really well to these to the staff and to these our players and the recruits.
No, he will. I mean, he seems like a great guy to grab a beer with, like I said, around the golf. Westwood National, we can go play 18. It'll be on me. It'll be the greens are perfect.
All 30, $40 of it.
No hate to Westwood, but yeah, it's usually more than you think it would be. But signing day, exciting times. We're also talking about, some people who signed a couple while ago, and that's Homefield Apparel. Homefield Apparel is the official OU apparel sponsor of SoonerScoop.com. If you go to HomeFieldApparel.com, use code SCOOP. You're going to get 15% off your first order. Look, we're a little bit past Black Friday now, but we're in the thick of holiday shopping. And don't get caught without a gift for your loved ones. So head to Homefield Apparel. Get some of this good stuff.
Yeah, these quarter zips just came out right there.
They're sick.
They're very nice. I'm about to get one. It's getting a little chilly, and like Joe said, the holidays coming up. Everybody needs some gear. Maybe you can rock it to the Lloyd Noble Center.
Bedlam next Saturday, December 14th at Paycom, or the OU Hoop Shut Up.
Oh, that's at Paycom?
Yeah, December 14th,
oh,
7
I'll
p.m.
be there.
But it's exciting. I'm wearing one of the pullovers right now. I'll tell you, they're super warm. You don't even need a jacket. They're that warm. And that just speaks to the quality of Homefield Apparel. You can get some classic, play like a champion today. They've got all the retro OU logos. Might want to wear it to the bowl game. You never know. We might be heading to warm weather. We might not be. I don't know.
It's really a toss-up.
We might be in Memphis eating barbecue. We might be in Florida. We might be in Fort Worth. You never know. So if you want to go to HomefieldApparel.com, use code SCOOP. You're going to get 15% off your order. But look at this. I'm telling you, I love it. It's so warm. You don't even need a jacket. But that just speaks to the power of Homefield Apparel. So today's guest, we have Patrick Fields, who's I've always exclaimed as like probably the smartest football player I've ever played. Not just on the field, but off the field. You walk away from conversations with him feeling like you gained some knowledge, right, Isaac?
He is an absolute scholar, stand-up person. Just, all-time guy, man. Love Pat.
Also Stanford educated as well after he left Oklahoma. So he had a great point of view on just Oklahoma. He was there to transition from Lincoln to Coach Venables. Then he went to Stanford, of course. And then also he played with Billy, Woody, Ethan, Danny,
Nick Bonito,
and then a host of NFL guys. So a lot of good point of view on that. So we cover that in the episode, and we're going to take you to that interview right now. We now welcome in former Oklahoma and Stanford safety, widely proclaimed by myself as one of the smartest Oklahoma football players of all time, Patrick Fields. Pat, thanks for joining the show.
Yeah, man. So great to catch up with y'all.
No, likewise. That's why we were just chopping up before air, just figuring out all the different things that you do. I mean, you walk away from Oklahoma, you're like, that dude might be president one day. And so,
or AD, as your dad says.
Yeah, no, I shot Big Joe a text before this and said, you're going to be on the show. He said, great guy. I always told him he'd be in my shoes one day. So athletic director, it could still be there for you. So Big Joe thinks it's in your cards.
We'll see. We'll see. I don't know if I could deal with all this transferring and stuff, though.
No, we're actually going to get into that a little bit just because it's crazy.
Yeah.
It really is. But I saw you actually at the Alabama game. You came on, saw each other on the field. You were in such a chaotic time, of Oklahoma football. A lot of coaches leaving in and out, some defensive struggles, some offensive greatness. What is it like seeing an Oklahoma team on the field that's the flip of that, the inverse of that? The defense is the backbone, the offense is struggling. What is it like just as like a former player who was in that, watching that team?
Well, it's crazy because it makes me think like what our group would have done, because like the guys we had come. I mean, look at Nick Bonito right now. I think he's either one or two in the NFL in sacks, and you think about the guys we had come through like Jay Red, Perrion, Trouble.
IT.
Billy was a freshman then.
Yeah.
Like, dude, imagine. I feel like we could have did some awesome things, but no, it's weird though. I think the thing that's most exciting is like you see the freshmen, the guys that were freshmen my last year, like Billy, Danny, Woody Washington, Ethan Downs. You see them like what they've grown into, both like on and off the field, and just seeing how much they've grown and developed. That's probably like the most exciting thing.
Yeah, that was actually going to be my next question. Was just talking about those three. What did you see early on in them that you knew that the program was going to be in good hands, because obviously they're the backbone of the whole team.
Yeah, yeah. Man, I think like Danny, the memory I have is I forgot what game it was, but he had like busted his face open or his nose was bleeding and he's like going to the locker room and he's like, F yeah, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, he's a middle linebacker. And then like Billy, I think his just level of maturity and focus, like determination, love of the game, like I always say like if I could have a kid, I would want them to be exactly like Billy. Like because I was with him like last week, and we went to eat breakfast at Waffle House, and then Billy's like, "Yeah, I got to go to the facilities to watch film." You know what I mean? And I think he's just constantly locked in, no matter if it's a big win, if it's a loss, he keeps the main thing the main thing.
Yeah, he's a pro player.
Yeah,
He's
even
gonna
as
be
a freshman, I just remember him. I don't know, just instantly making like an impact and being a difference maker. I remember Drake talking about him like this is one of the
Yeah,
strongest and smartest freshmen that I've been around. And then there was iron sharpens iron for the next however many years.
right, right. And if he would have never got, because he did start game one, but if he would have never got injured, like Billy would have been a 4 year starter, probably like would be way higher on like the leaderboard for like hell he already is like in interceptions and touchdowns and all that, but he'd be even farther running away with the race.
Yeah.
Billy. But Danny's always, Danny kind of had that character early in the career. I mean, he's always going to be a character, but he kind of had that persona early year that he was kind of a goofball. Was he a silly guy? Was he a funny guy on the team?
Still is.
He still is, but I feel like he's channeled it a little bit more.
Yeah.
Dude, I just remember Danny would always do this thing. I forgot what it is on like your cameras, but it's like a little filter and it makes you like the skinny face or something like that. And he posted them on like Twitter and all that, but he would just go around to everybody. And I don't know, dude, Danny is just such a good guy to be around. He's like a true football guy. Like if it's muddy, he's gonna be like diving and sliding in the mud. He's always gonna have energy. Like he's never going to be down. I don't know, dude. He's just like a good guy to have in life. Like he's always going to be the life of the party.
Yeah, yeah. You were talking earlier about Nick and seeing his success so far. I know DT's been a little banged up this year. We actually I was talking to Nick earlier today about because it's their bye week, about getting him on the show. Do you still keep up with a lot of the guys that were in our recruiting class?
Yeah, yeah. I still try to keep up with everybody. Shoot everybody a text. Like a couple weeks ago, and at the Bama game, like me, Robert Barnes, Trey Norwood, Perry, we all got together. And then Trouble. That's like my right hand man right there. That's my guy for life. But yeah, I still try to keep up with everybody, shoot everybody a text. And a lot of folks are here in like the Texas somewhere in the off season, so we try to get together a good amount.
Yeah, Trouble's my guy. We're actually locker mates.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, and then Baker a couple years earlier it was a really good locker side.
You had the best locker, yeah.
No, I really did. They put me in a good spot. But you played 1 year with Jalen Hurts. What has it been like seeing his success in his career and kind of his persona, and just what did you learn from that 1 year? Did you think, yeah, this guy's a dude too? Just when he
Yeah,
stepped
yeah.
into a
I think
leadership
with,
role.
with, with Jalen Hurts, it's kind of just like a matter of time. I think, there's only like we had the privilege of being in like a phenomenal locker room with like a lot of elite people, even outside of football with like Maggie and all that. But like a guy like Jalen Hurts, you come across in life and it's like they're one of those people that you always like, man, like I can be better in life because I think he could literally will himself into being like whatever he wants to be in this world. Like, and I think like you saw that in Jalen, just how he approached everything. Like, even if like y'all just go back on your phones, look at Snapchat. If everybody's goofing off in like the big team room and like people are dancing, like Jalen's just gonna be like sitting there, like, and that's how he is. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. I've never seen somebody that focused, that intentional about everything they do, and I think it's just like a matter of time with his success.
Yeah, I mean, Kyler was very stoic as well, very, kind of quiet, lead by example. But, like, he also had, like, a very fun side to him. But Jalen, I just remember Drake talking about Jalen, like, his pregame speeches. He was like, he might have been, like, a king or something in, like, a past life. Like, dude, like,
Yeah,
has some
yeah.
experience under his belt.
No, he really
And I
has.
think like the thing I always respect so much about Jalen, and like y'all know this from being in football, like a lot of people put on these personas in media, but they're not really that in real life. I think everything Jalen's even more of himself in real life than he is in like media. Because like in media, people see him and can tell like, this guy is super focused, super detailed, super intentional. But he's even that much more so in real life, as opposed to it being like how most guys are, and they kind of like try to bark a little bit, louder than they can actually bite. So
It is the opposite. He almost has to
Yeah.
like open up a little bit to the media a little bit because they're like, we want to
yeah,
get a little something out of him. But
right.
of those guys you played with, kind of the opposite. There was so much talent, and a lot of these guys are playing in the league right now. But of the guys you played with, was there anybody in particular that maybe didn't have the career they wanted to, or you thought they could be an NFL player that just did not get the opportunity to?
Yeah, dang.
I mean,
I'm trying to think who comes to mind.
it's been really cool to see J Red.
J.
J
Red, yeah.
Jalen Redmond's my guy. Like he's see him get his opportunity in the NFL after playing the XFL. Shout out Renegades.
But y'all know though, like J Red's been that. Or,
I,
or actually, and this is crazy because I gotta remember, like, we're talking to like the outside world. I don't know, Jalen probably might have been the most talented defensive lineman we had in that 5 years. So I think it was for him, it kind of just was taking time for everything to come together. And obviously he had like the injuries as well as like the issues with the blood clots and all that. But I think we all know though, J Red was now for him, it's just going to be like him surprising the world and become like a Hall of Famer and getting like a gold jacket or something.
Yeah, he just never quit. That's why it's, shout out to him. But we played, he was in our recruiting class and we were all from, Oklahoma schools. He was the first person I remember in, I think, 7th grade at an AAU tournament that I saw dunk. Like threw down a windmill. And that was before he even started playing football. And I remember when they got him to finally play football, like junior year he started. I mean, I was like, he's going to be a problem, bro. He put on weight. And then, like you said, he's just so skilled with his feet, his hands.
Yeah, yeah.
Man.
And then I remember like J Red was like an instant 5-star. It was like the crazy because we all knew who he was, like being from Oklahoma, and like yeah, he was like windmilling and stuff and like in dunking and like 7th. And y'all know like we didn't meet each other. It's like freshman sophomore year because I was on like the west side of the state in Tulsa, but I remember playing J Red in AAU, and I'm like, dude, what the? Because at that age you're like, why this kid must have got held back, like. There's cheating involved. Like he's really like
forged
like,
birth
nah,
certificates.
Yeah.
it's like nah, this dude's just really that athletic.
Yeah. He was so stupid.
Yeah, then another guy you mentioned earlier, Nick Benito.
Yeah.
I mean, just the season
Hey,
he's had. He's always been that guy too. I remember when he
Yeah.
came in. There's some funny stories
Well,
about him.
he could barely get through a workout when he first got here. But like
Benny.
we knew how. I mean, he was just such a natural like at the position, and so like his first step so fast. We're like once he figures it out, and he figured it out quickly. You know what I mean? Yeah, he's also a hooper.
Yeah, and Jay, so Nick had like the fastest 10-yard split on like the team out of everybody. So like anybody you thought was like crazy fast, Trey Brown, Marvin, like Nick had the fastest 10-yard split. But I don't know, man, dude. Nick's like an interesting guy because he was never the most dominant in workouts, but like you knew come game day, I can't even recognize the guy that shows up, man. But he's I don't know, dude. It's so good to just see all those guys winning, though. And even like Deshaun, because I think Deshaun's in like the practice squad of like the Niners right now. It's so good to like see all those guys in our class, like, in the league doing their thing.
Yeah.
No, yeah, that was a group right there.
Yeah, we actually had. I mean, Drake's there. Drake's with the Rams too. There's a lot of guys that we ended up putting out.
IT, don't forget Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah, he was a grade above us.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I think our class right now in the league, we got Perk, Trouble, Nick, BA. Brian Asamoah was an animal.
Yeah.
BA.
Deshaun White, B. Will, Braden Willis,
Drizzy.
and then Bray. Bray's the name that comes to mind. To your question,
Bray. Oh, Walker.
Bray Walker.
Yeah.
Big Bray. He was a
locker
locker mate too.
Dude,
God.
I mean, yeah, he was like the national #1 5-star all that. Oh man,
Dude,
good
biggest
guy.
dude I've ever
But
seen.
he just goes back into the category of players of like he just had no interest of playing football.
It just
He was
good.
just
Yeah.
there because it
Yeah.
was paying the
He's
bills.
just better. He's just better than everybody in high school. Yeah, man. He's a good dude. I love Bray.
That's crazy though. Our 2018 class, we got like 7, 8 guys in the league.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
I'd be
crazy.
interested to see if our class might have the most.
Dude, we gotta give credit to like Coach Stoops for that class instead of Coach Riley
Yeah.
since he left.
Yeah, he was saying that earlier. He was like, that was actually, yeah, my dad's
Just
class.
statistically speaking, you start talking about the classes that Coach Stoops had, especially those latter classes, starting in 2014. There was some success drop off after the Coach Stoops classes stopped playing. That's all I'm gonna
I
say.
don't know, man.
I'm just statistically speaking here.
Oh
But
man, I love Coach Riley, so I
he's
can't
yeah.
venture down that one.
Yeah.
But hey,
No, I'm just
the
saying. I'm just
numbers,
saying.
the
I'm not.
numbers
I'm
are the
a,
numbers.
yeah,
Numbers,
yeah.
numbers.
I mean, I played for Link. I enjoyed it. It was a good
Yeah.
time. Yeah, no. What it was like. I mean, you were on the team obviously when a starter on the team, a leader on the team, when Lincoln decided to go to USC. What was it like? Living out those few weeks. 1 minute you're trying to play for a an opportunity to play for the Big 12 championship. The next minute, you don't got a head coach.
Next minute, my dad's the coach, and we're going to San Antonio.
We're going to the Alamo Bowl.
Yeah.
Yo, that was actually I think that was actually like my funnest, my most fun couple weeks at Oklahoma. It's like those like, and I don't know if it was because it was like a closure moment type of deal or something like that. But that was because obviously, being an Oklahoma kid, I wanted to play for Coach Stoops, so that was like a dream of mine. But no, dude, I remember like the day that it happened because they called a team meeting. And I was like, dude, there's no way we have a team meeting on a Sunday like after we just lost because y'all know how it is like
Mhm.
after
At the end
like
of the
post
year.
game.
Yeah.
So we all knew something was up. Then the meeting was like scheduled for like 1 o'clock, and then it got delayed. And then next thing you know, like Boog and all like the California guys, you're like, yo, all my guys at SC are saying like Coach Riley's coach, blah, blah, blah. And then I was like, dude, there's no freaking way.
I was a student coach then with Manning and Grinch. That was honestly my most fun few weeks as well. We had a really good time. But
Yeah.
did you consider? I mean, once BV got announced, did you consider staying and playing? Final year for him.
Nah. I was nah, cause I knew I needed to go to Stanford. And I think like for myself, and y'all know this. Like I consider myself like an Oklahoma guy through and through. And like, y'all see my jersey up and everything. But and I love like the University of Death. But there's also like a realization that I kind of have to like get out the way because I shouldn't have been there another year and like a Billy Bowman is there and like a Robert Spears-Jennings is there and all that. Because those guys like Billy was going to be a way better safety than I could have ever been. Same thing with Rob and like all those guys. So there's also like a thing of like, old guys got to get out the way so like the young blood can, become the next greatest. So
That is very like good reading of the room. Like you don't hear many people say
Self-awareness,
that. Yeah,
humble.
that's real love for the university. Like everybody knows you're a Sooner for sure.
yeah, man. Cause do even at work, cause like I went to Stanford, but I'm not from that world. I'm like a blue collar guy. I just so happen to be like a little bit. So like whenever I talk to people, it's like, dude, me and you are not the same. Like, and I consider myself like an Oklahoma guy across everything. And it's like, protect the standard, uphold the standard. So I don't know. Y'all know how it is, man. I love OU with everything in me. So
What was it like going to play for Stanford? How did it compare? It's got a different persona. I know just watching on television, it may not be the same, but just not a lot of people go to the football games, which is astonishing because Stanford's
yeah.
been good, really good
Yes.
at times. And
Yeah.
there's like a couple thousand people in the stands. I'm like, what are you doing?
Man, it was hard in a lot of ways because I mean, like, dude, I'm from you can debate if Oklahoma's the South or not, but I'm from like Southern football and like, beating the crap out of each other and all that. So it was a different world. I think the thing I appreciate the most about going out there is I learned so much about just having how to navigate like the politics of the world, how to navigate, this professional side of things because Stanford was just a different ballgame. Like former alumni or like GMs of NFL teams, executives, or part of ownership groups of different teams. So like the way that that program operated was very different. Like you saw like a lot more behind the scenes, and I think that impacted me a ton in terms of how I carry myself, how I talk, and all that. So I was like really appreciated, really appreciate that experience. It was very tough though because it was just a different world, man. Like I said, I'm a blue collar type of cat. I work a white collar job, but with a blue collar mentality now. And I think like mixing with some of the folks out there, it's like, I don't know, man. I feel
Yeah.
like I'm just like a little bit different in that
Yeah.
regard. If you
Yeah.
guys get what I'm saying.
Yeah,
No, I know. I'm picking
you're
up.
you're dual threat.
Do
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
Flip a switch.
Walter Rouse, we had him on the show. I mean, months back, but he was the opposite. He flipped from Stanford to OU. Have you ever talked? Did you talk to him at all, like during that process? I mean, you guys never played at the same time, but
No, no, no. So me and Walt, we were together. Crazy thing about this, like Walter's like family is like the best in the world. Like his mom is like so nice. Cause I was in DC for like work last year, and I texted her. I was like, "Hey, I'm in DC. Just like thought about you." And then she like took me to dinner, like all this stuff. So like that's how good his family is. But no, I'm glad like Walter got to come to Oklahoma because I think we caught Stanford at a bad time. Like because Stanford was actually like at the pinnacle of college athletics, in like the Andrew Luck, Toby Gerhart, McCaffrey area.
yeah,
So a lot of those guys never got to experience winning and like coming from like a good football school and culture and all that. So I'm glad like Walter got to see that because there's a lot of things that he told me after coming to OU that's like, dang, I kind of like never knew this or saw that side, you know?
Provides a different little lens
yeah,
to look through. Now,
Yeah.
and he had quite the success here too, as well.
yeah,
That's pretty cool. The people always said it was like a trade. We sent Pat Fields out. We got Walter Rouse in return. 1 year delayed. It's like a
Yeah.
delayed NCAA trade. And there's a lot of trading, going in the transfer portal these days. I mean, like you said, you mentioned earlier, it's hard to keep up. We're in the thick of it right now. Every day you go to Twitter and you got hundreds of guys that are entering the portal. Then on top of that, you got the house settlement. The big settlement class
Yeah.
action lawsuit. So you expecting a big chunk from that, Pat? You played a lot of snaps. I mean, I don't even know how do you even file to get a chunk of that. I don't know. I know there's a form. I don't know how you prove it's like, hey, I played.
you never came off the field, so yeah.
I played 700 snaps that year. That's 700 snaps on TV. I don't know. I don't understand it. But
Pray, I don't know, dude. I'm throwing some prayers up. I hope I get something, but I don't know. This like new college football because I don't know. The way I grew up, it was like such a big thing to me to go to the University of Oklahoma. Like it was. And it was like a pride that I had in like representing the university, like being an Oklahoma kid. And I don't know, it's just hard for me to see this new world and like guys like transferring and like being a starter and transferring and all that. And I don't want to get into too much about talking to like individual folks, but I just like I'm very against it. And I think, it's hard to think with like a 40-year view at 18, 19, but like a lot of these kids, you have to think about it like, dude, 100,000 is not changing your life, nor is 250,000. There's a lot of life that you got to live afterwards. And, like, tell me how successful you're going to be in life whenever you transfer 3 times in undergrad, you don't have a degree. Even in transferring 3 times, like you can't get any degree in like engineering, mathematics, anything like that. And then like, oh, by the way, like tell me like how you're going to face adversity in life. You know what I mean? So,
That's
and like, I don't want to get like too much into that because I don't want to like attack any one individual because I know there's things that like I can't see behind the scenes, but I don't know, man. I'm wired like a little bit different, so that's why.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
know,
everyone's a little bit different. So, like you said, not to get into specifics, but it is something about well, not just getting your degree, but like you said, setting yourself up for life beyond football. Like, and I think that's something
yeah,
that BV has done a really good job of, like here at Oklahoma, and retaining guys is things like Soul Mission and just bringing in
yeah,
the right people to like, and even as recruiting pitches, I heard some of the commits on signing day yesterday talking about, we didn't even talk about football, we just talked about what kind of man you'll be, what kind of what you'll be doing 30 years from now, things like that, because at some point football is going to end.
Yeah, yeah. And man, like that's what, I'm truly a fan of, and I know that you all are because college athletics, and I think yeah, like I want guys and gals to get paid, but there's this beauty in college athletics that you go there as like a young lady or as a young man and like you transform to becoming like a grown lady or a grown man and like all the development that goes into it. And I just think that we have to be like thoughtful about not destroying what makes athletics so beautiful and attempt to like commercialize things. And like the other thing that people don't realize, because I'm like in the business world now. And people are talking and flirting with like private equity and all that. Like, I'm not sure you want private equity a part of college athletics. And people have to take a step back and like, and sorry if I'm like nerding out, but people have to take a step back and like if private equity if you gave me like a hold of college athletic or OU, I'm going to look at things as a business person as purely black and white. What generates revenue and what doesn't? And I think introducing some of these things into college athletics, you just have to understand sacrifices come with it. I'm a fan of like college athletics because it's not for profit. So you give opportunities to a lot of sports that maybe don't generate as much revenue yet. And I think if you start introducing private equity into some of these things and where these things are going in the future, you may start cutting programs, you may start taking away scholarships and taking away opportunities from like young men and women that, like completely alter the trajectory of their life. So,
Without a doubt. I
yeah.
mean, imagine growing up, you're playing a sport, and then all of a sudden that sport doesn't even have an opportunity to play at the NCAA or college level. It's
Yeah.
it's a slippery slope because exactly. I mean, you said maybe some that are generating revenue. I mean, the fact of the matter of college athletics is outside of football, men's basketball, and then sometimes women's basketball.
Softball sometimes.
So, I mean, but no, I'm just talking about like actually like ending up in the plus. Like
Oh,
there's not any other program that ends up in the positive, and so like that's a hard pill to swallow because even something as successful as softball and what it's built in at the University of Oklahoma and what it's generating in terms of the stadium and the fan attendance and the
if you're only
viewership,
measuring
that's not
success as,
that's
yeah.
not that's not breaking into positive, and so it's like that's just a hard pill to swallow. So I can imagine some of those other sports
Yeah.
and other teams.
Well, Patrick, tell us, give us a little rundown of what you're doing now. Obviously, in the business world and everything.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And before I jump into that, like I'll say, Joe, to your point, like people got to be really careful about that stuff because sometimes, like private equity and like this whole commercialization of business, like people looking at things like a very narrow lens. It's like, how do I generate as much profit in like X amount of time? Call it 3 years or 5 years. Like, imagine if we never invested in like the WNBA or like women's basketball or women's softball like for a period of time, like the WNBA was like growing at like double digit percentage wise, like revenue, but it didn't maybe take off until the last couple of years. And it was really like Caitlin Clark, but I don't want to disrespect any other ladies that, you know, but just imagine if like we could like halt innovation by becoming like too commercial heavy on like monetizing things and like turn this so I just like I don't know. I just have like a huge caution against that stuff because I'm against it. But in terms of what I do now, I work for like a big consulting firm, and basically we consult for like 80 to 90% of the Fortune 500 companies. So like a lot of what I'm doing on the day to day is driving like huge strategic transformations for companies. It's like a good example of like say if like OU Athletics was our client right now, we would probably be doing like a strategic transformation on like how do you go from this current era of college athletics to the new era? How do you layer your strategic roadmap? How do you think about revenue as an athletic department and then optimizing that by sport, by revenue stream, and then like creating like a plan to like actually so that's what like I do on like a day to day, but like for global companies, so yeah.
That's a it's like a business class. It was thrown back to my business class
Yeah.
college days. He's
We don't speak the same language.
I speak a little bit of
Yeah,
it.
we
I'm
speak
similar
enough
fluent.
of it.
I'm gonna get
yeah.
some Duolingo after this.
Yeah,
Yeah, if we had a Shark Tank, you would be too smart for it.
yeah. We'd have to
So,
switch spots.
I still think that's a really good idea. Sooner Scoop Shark Tank. It could be like sports themed, and like we all sit at a round table. We're like, oh, we'll give you $300 for a 20% equity of that idea.
Hey, I was gonna say before we let you go and stuff. was it yesterday or 2 days ago? You know, your Union head coach, you know, legend in Oklahoma football, Coach Frederick.
Yeah.
He retired. So I don't know if you want to speak a little bit about him, throw a little tribute his way.
Yeah, man. I appreciate like Coach Fred like so much because I think like y'all are probably experiencing now, but like you never appreciate things until like after the fact. And I just appreciate so much like Coach Fred, like whenever I kind of like had started getting like a bigger ego and I started getting offers and I was like, I'm committed to OU, he would always like keep me really grounded and like keeping the main thing, having strong values, helping me like grow as a man of God, most importantly, and all that. So I can't say like enough, thank yous and gratitude to Coach Fred. I texted him it was either like yesterday or the day before, and I said, I'll strap it up for you any day. So that's my head coach right there.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hey, you guys had our number in the state championship. I'm still salty.
It was bad too, right?
It was pretty bad.
No, it was
wasn't that
crazy
bad.
because
We beat them in
y'all beat
the
us at the
season.
first go round.
Yeah.
But it was like Norman North had came out of I don't want to disrespect y'all, but y'all kind of like came out of nowhere, like with y'all, Charlie.
Gade, yeah, we had
You, there was like the
some
DNs that went to Memphis. There was like an older brother, younger brother. I forgot their
They
names.
both went to Memphis, yeah, the Mashburns.
The Mashburns.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, man. But there was, no, y'all had some boys.
Go T-Wolves.
Yeah,
I didn't go there.
T-Wolves, yeah.
But Pat, thanks for joining the show. Really appreciate it. I'm always smarter after I have a conversation with you. I felt the same way at Alabama, so I'm walking away the same way today.
Yeah, man. I appreciate y'all.
I appreciate it.
Always good.
For everybody watching, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. That helps us help you. And we'll catch you next week with another edition of The Family Business. Remember to keep it in the family.